And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. The Drive, live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, home of the 5-star experience. Also online at woodyAndersonFord.com. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate, and Adams. We know great homes. Eagle Masonry Installation. We will save you money. Bob Wallace Appliance, where we service what we sell. Locally owned and operated since 1978. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. And by Chapman Commercial Realty, growing with Huntsville. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
That would be growing with Huntsville for 6 generations. Don't know why those got clipped, but nonetheless, this is the best day of media days, and this is the best time to be at media days because despite that introduction, not in Atlanta, and even better at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. So 2 for 2. And not only that, but Bob was here about an hour ago. So throughout the 9-year tenure of this show, one of the all-timer shows was myself and Wes, or really Wes and me, hanging out with Bob in Tuscaloosa and the head fry chef, the head fry cook himself, was there front and center. So on the docket today, here it is in order. Brian Harsin, center stage this morning. Second-year Auburn head football coach. Josh Heupel followed that up. Quite honestly, Auburn was making the rounds, and maybe I can get some better education from Smokey Mike. I have not heard Josh Heupel in the main media room because the Auburn players were going around Radio Row. But I did get a chance to listen to Dirt Neck, a.k.a. Jimbo Fisher, and our boy in Drew DeArmond kind of stole the show, as I heard from multiple reporters after this exchange between Dirt Neck and Drew DeArmond.
Coach Fisher, Drew DeArmond, WZZ Radio in Huntsville, Alabama. You did say some very poignant things about Nick Saban, and then NIL is very real. We know that it's here to stay. And one of your staff members was caught on video telling some recruits that they were going to be paid very well for playing football.
No, that's not what he said. Those guys paid down there very well. And what he meant was he was a young guy, had been there about a month. He was doing a turn. The guys behind those seats are what pay for your program. Those are donations and boosters, and how he said it and how he spoke. Now, we all have NIL? Yes, we do. But that's what he was meaning. And it's a transform thing that we say with all recruits. The guys behind those things are the guys who pay for our program and what we do and the donations, and that's what it was. He'd been here 1 month.
And what do you take from you worked for Coach, you worked for him at LSU, and you used the terms like organization. What's the thing that you took most from him that has influenced your coaching career after working for him and seeing what he's built at Alabama?
I think diversity in organization and the different aspects of a program that they've grown. I think he was one of the first guys into mental health and things, which has been a very forefront thing for me ever since I've been a coach and as an assistant or as a head coach. And we put a lot of time in. I think now with jumping out, I used to joke in the ACC meetings. I told some guys sometimes, I said, the head coach, I said, the biggest issue we have in college football and in my is mental health. And he said, well, that's not our problem. I said, well, I think it is for everybody. We just didn't realize it. And I think that was one of the things he was in the forefront about, getting help and getting guys to understand how to handle the different pressures that they go through as a person. And each year it's changing. And because of social media and the different things that are going on, I think it's huge. And I think those aspects in organization, and he's a great football coach.
Coach, we're going to stay over here on our...
There you go. That is Jimbo Fisher. Drew DeArmond, who normally stays here with us, makes an appearance here early on. Drew, Well, what did you think of that interaction right there?
I thought Dirt Neck dodged the question completely because I watched the clip a few times. That's not what he said. He goes, they're going to pay you very well if you come play football here. Okay? We didn't fall off a turnip truck, man. So he basically does what he does. He would have failed the lie detector if I could have hooked it up to him. And so, again, but I appreciate him answering the question. And I got another one in later.
You did? About
Evan Stewart, and basically that was a veiled reference to $800,000 that they paid him to be there. And, yes, he was MVP of their spring game, and I guess he needed to be considering that he's probably making more money right now than all of their receivers. But again, he should be a great player. Many people I talked to thought he was the best receiver in the country last year. Texas A&M certainly needs that. They need that aspect of their offense, and now their best weapon, most experienced weapon, Anais Smith, has had some issues off the field. We know he'll be back. I don't think this will be something that lingers. I don't think it's a good sign, though, when a guy that you bring with you, they were going to bring him to Atlanta to the College Football Hall of Fame to represent Texas A&M, doesn't, make it there because of the situation. To me, I'm not sold on the culture that Dirt Neck has built. I certainly didn't like the one he built at FSU, but they're talented. And like Owen Buchanan said on Talking Ball this morning, it will be a disappointment if they don't win at least 10 games.
How you doing, Wes?
I think they're going to be disappointed. You can't depend on freshmen to win games.
I certainly hope they are.
Well, I don't know. I'm not really – I don't know. I'm not pouring full of them anymore, that's for sure. But you look at the question upset Jimbo. You can tell.
He stopped him.
Oh, yeah. He didn't want you to ask the whole question. So they've been preparing for that question.
And staff members was caught on video telling some recruits that they were going to be paid very well for playing football.
No, that's not what he said.
First lie.
Here is the actual video. Let's see if I can't ramp this up.
I'm getting a lot of money.
You're getting a lot of money from those people up there if you decide to play football here. What does that sound like to you, Steve Moulton?
Cash and checks.
That's the Acme Liar Liar Company from the Lie Detector USA. That's what that would have been the first, blip or whatever it does when you lie.
Maury determined that to be a lie.
Yeah, exactly. Maury Povich. I mean, come on.
So, what did he say about Anais Smith and his situation?
Wouldn't comment on it, so they had to take another look at it. Yep. And they were still gathering information.
Well, I think that's the right thing to do because he probably is.
And that's why I didn't ask about Anais Smith. I figured that would be the reaction to that. I mean, that's a situation legally that some things are going to happen. Owen Buchanan referenced Cam Robinson's situation at Alabama. But, but of course they're going to throw Alabama into the deal because they think they are Alabama, which is a joke. But, again, because they won one time and they think that Alabama's not going to be as good this year and A&M's going to be better, but hopefully come October the 8th, they're going to be rudely awakened.
Well, I don't know why they think that they got Alabama as the two best players in the country. A lot of people think the Heisman Trophy winner returning. We'll see if he can do something not a lot of Heisman Trophy winners have been able to do, and that's have a follow-up good year.
Yeah, that's true. And what I also find humorous is they're throwing it in Will Anderson's face that he had one tackle in the game. They keep reminding him of that. All he's going to do is put that on his wall, which I hope they keep saying that because then hopefully he'll have 5 sacks in
the first half.
Yeah, and then they'll be on their second quarterback by the third quarter, and Dirt Neck will have to take some nerve pills because it's going to be a long press conference.
We have not taken a whole lot of phone calls this week for obvious reasons, but it is good to be back home here in North Alabama. If you'd like to give us a call, you can do so on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We do have interviews that we have recorded. Charlie Trotman earlier in the day. It is Auburn Day, so we have to we got in the booth with Charlie earlier today at the College Football Hall of Fame. If you'd like to give us a call, you can do so on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline at 256-576-4977. That is the telephone number. Wes and I sat down with Chris Doring from the SEC Network, a good friend of the program as well. What else? I had an opportunity to talk to Andy Burcham as well as Ronnie Brown, both from the Auburn Network, and going to give you a little bit of what Brian Harsin had to say. Okay, here's the deal on the broad generalization of what everybody around me was talking about. So when Nick Saban went up to the podium, the roof above you on the field, you can hear
when it's raining.
When it's raining,
right.
The rain stopped when Nick Saban went up to the podium.
I know what you're going to say next.
When you were in the room too.
I know.
When Brian Harsin, his first words, there was a clap of thunder and just a huge downpour.
No question. So either that's going to be a downpour because Auburn's going to surprise some people, or it's a downpour because they're going to be having a coaching search come December. But I still think Auburn's going to be better than people think. I certainly am not picking them to finish 7th in the Western Division or even 6th. I'd probably go with 5th. Lane Kiffin wouldn't like me very much, but I think I'm going to go with I said this morning. Did you
do your ballot? No.
But
no.
I missed the deadline, but it's meaningless, to be honest with you anyway. I'm not going to change my mind. Like I said, I put this on record on Talking Ball this morning. I would go Alabama, LSU, Arkansas, Dirt Neck University, then Auburn, then Ole Miss, and then Mississippi State in the Western Division. That would be my – and I preface it by saying I'm not trying to disrespect. We got a ton of Mississippi State fans and graduates in this town. I'm not saying they're going to be bad. I think they're all going to make bowl games. I'm just saying you got to pick somebody 7th. Okay.
All right.
So it's the toughest division in all college football.
Here is a kiss of death from yours truly. My prediction that I did submit this morning during Talking Ball.
I think it was 5:00 is the deadline, and I missed it.
Yeah.
I meant to do it on the way home, but oh well.
You're 12 minutes over the deadline right now.
Yeah, I know.
Alabama, number 1. Dirt Neck U, number 2. Texas A&M. Followed by Arkansas, Ole Miss, LSU. I have Auburn 6th, and Mississippi State last.
Well, we have some similarities in the East. For me, it's Georgia won a runaway train. We talked to a great friend Freddie Maggard this morning to close down Talking Ball. I'm going to go with UK 2nd. I told that to Freddie.
I did too.
I'm going there.
Yep.
I'm gonna go a little bit different though, because I'm just not. I'm gonna go Billy Napier 3rd. I just don't think I don't think they have a good enough roster to get in the top
scary
2. And then I'm gonna go Tennessee 4.
There you go.
South Carolina 5. Even though I wouldn't. I had a hard time with that. I almost put South Carolina 4 and Tennessee 5, but I'm gonna go Tennessee 4, South Carolina 5. And then Missouri, and then Vandy. That's my prediction.
That is spot on with
Alabama beating Georgia and Atlanta.
I went Georgia, Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, Missouri, Vanderbilt. Should I be scared now the fact that Drew DeArmond is lining up with the same opinion as me?
No, I think Drew should be. But
I have Alabama as the champion.
Yes, that's who I have.
So, Drew.
Yes.
Interested? Why LSU 2nd?
I think Miles Brennan is better than people think.
I do too.
I think Brian Kelly is really good with quarterbacks in his system, Wes. And I think if Butte is healthy, and they're saying he will be, he's as good as any receiver in the league. And the guy to me that's going to bust out in this system, because if you watch Brian Kelly's offenses and the way they run the ball and then how productive the running backs are, John Emery was a heavily recruited guy who has yet to become what everybody thought. He was a 5-star running back. I think Emery could have a huge senior year in this offense, and I think you have a 3-headed monster there at LSU offensively. And I think the O-line, if this young Will Campbell, this left tackle, is as good as they're saying, and he's a freshman All-American type guy. He can stabilize the O-line, and I think LSU's front four, you're talking about Jaquelin Roy, you're talking about Mason Smith, and you're talking about B.J. Alage, and then you're talking about a die. I think, Ali Gay, Ali Gay, I'm sorry. I think their front four is going to be really good. They've got Mike Jones at middle linebacker. I think they don't have the star power at corner that they usually do, but they'll be solid. They got two really good transfer portal safeties, including Fouché from Arkansas. I think LSU, and they're going to be well coached. I think they're going to finish second, and I just think they're going to be the surprise of the Western Division.
Scooter is on line one here out of the gate. How are you, Scooter?
Hey, guys. What's going on today?
Good to be back home. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. I've been under the weather the last couple of days and been able to watch all the SEC media days on TV and saw Drew's comment today and saw your comment yesterday to Coach Kirby Smart, Steve, and thought it was very informative. And, of course, as we got word today, I see that Kirby Smart got a new contract extension.
He got paid.
He got paid pretty good. I think it was
10 years,
million, for through the 2031 season. And but I just wanted to call and tell y'all I'm excited about the upcoming season. And sorry I've kind of went on a drought here, but
that's fine.
I just wanted to call and get y'all.
You've been a busy fella.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy. What
do you think about your Auburn Tigers, Scooter?
Probably 8-5, 7-6, something like that. Or, I don't think it'll be as bad as it was last year. At least I hope it's not going to be. But, of course, Alabama and Georgia's going to be the two top contenders in the SEC, I believe, again. But, I think they're going to have to give these coaches, time to build a program at these schools. I think after the first year, I don't think you can make a decision after just one bad year. I think you got to give these coaches at least 2 or 3 or 4 years to build a program. Don't y'all agree?
I'll say this: he's 6-6. He lost his starting quarterback, and if you would have said, "Hey, would you win a game if Bo Nix didn't start last year?" you would have said no.
Yeah.
So I think the guy's a good coach, and they give him time.
Tank looks good, by the way. Scooter bumped into Tank and had a moment with him, and he looks to be primed and ready to roll.
I like that statistic. They've just put up Auburn. Excuse me, Scooter. 56% total experience returning. That's interesting. So I guess 56% of the snaps are back. Is that a high number or low number?
It's about middle of the pack, really. But they do have some experience in key places, though. They got Tank. They've got experienced offensive line big time. They've got one of the most underrated tight ends in college football, and John Samuel Shanker, the fishing aficionado. That was on with Azar today at the Tom Abraham show. And
he's a good-looking specimen.
He is. He played for Coach Russ Probst, good friend of y'all's, at Colquitt County. And so
Colquitt County.
He also played baseball at Auburn at one time. So he's coming into his own. I think he's a really good player. They've got to figure something out to win the wide receiver room. That's why I asked Coach Harsin about Ike Hilliard.
Yep.
Ike was a great player at Florida, great pro, had a really solid pro career, had done a nice job coaching in the pros. He's come to Auburn, and he seems to be connecting with that room. They've got to get some production, though, because, again, it's in football now, it's very hard to win 5 and 10 yards at a time. You've got to make chunk plays and 50 and 60-yard explosive plays. Jason Caldwell and I have talked about that ad nauseum. You've got to be able to make explosive plays, and Auburn couldn't do it last year much, and they're going to have to find a way to do that now this coming season.
Scooter, I hope you get to feeling better. Appreciate the phone call, sir.
Thank you, Scooter.
256-576-4977. And in case you missed that Q&A, here is Brian Harsin with Drew DeArmond.
Yes, Coach Harsin, Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. I wanted to ask you, you talked about your staff and retooling it. One guy that's going to be crucial because your wide receiver room, there's going to be a lot of guys that need to step up and produce. Landon King, a guy you converted from tight end, has said some very special things about Ike Hilliard. We saw what he did at Florida as a player and in the NFL. What kind of impact has he had on those guys so far, and what do you anticipate from him on your staff?
Yeah, Coach Hilliard, immediate impact. Yeah, Ike is one of those individuals that when he walks into a room, there's a presence about him, and he knows what he's talking about. And I think the first day he was in that room with those wide receivers, he told them that he loved them and he was there to help them get better. When he spoke to our team, we did this exercise with every one of our coaches where they got a chance to get up in front of the team and talk about leadership. And Ike's been there. He's done it. Everything those guys want to do, he's been a part of it. And before he began his talk on leadership and what he thought that is and how he was going to explain that to our guys, he told our guys, look, hey, I'm here for you. And if there's any questions you have or anything you want to know, just come by and see me. And it was very cool and just right to the point. And so, if you want to be a part of something at the next level or you want to know how to do it, he's the guy to go talk to because he's been there, he's coached it, and he's done those things. But as far as just his knowledge on the football field, in the staff room, they're second to none. This guy's phenomenal. I mean, we're very fortunate to have him. I love working with him. I love his energy, love his enthusiasm, love everything that he brings to the table. And those wide receivers now, when you got that guy standing up in front of you, if you're not listening, you're crazy. And he's just got that presence about him. So he's got the attention of that room. He's got the attention on the offensive side. And he's certainly got the attention of the team. And he's one of those additions, just like some new players coming in. He's one of those guys that you bring into your program that makes an immediate impact. And you know that, like, this guy's a difference maker. And he's certainly that. So extremely excited about Ike and happy that he's with us and looking forward to what he's going to do with that wide receiver room. Now he's got more depth. He's got more players. He's got guys to go out there and compete. And I think that's going to be a big part of that room succeeding in the future.
So Chris Doring basically said the same thing Coach Harsin just said to us.
It's like we've done 2,000 shows because I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Later on in the program, I was planning on playing Chris Doring simply because of that answer from the question.
It sounded like Chris Doring was answering it.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So I had an opportunity to ask Brian Harsin a question. No, I didn't ask him about his shoes.
Thank goodness. You asked, who was that yesterday? You asked the question I told you I wish you'd asked.
That was Will Levis.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought that was, at least you're listening.
We'll stay over here on our right-hand side. Hey, Coach. Steve Moulton, WZZN from Huntsville, Alabama. I have been listening to your podcast and thoroughly enjoying it. So that leads me to this question. Harder to do, put a winning football team together or rebuilding? I think when you were talking to Dana, you talked about rebuilding a Trailblazer. So rebuilding a car or putting a football team together? Which is harder?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot less pressure on building a car. Yeah, I can tell you that. It's all part of the process. I think everybody, I'm sure everyone in here has something that you do that has a process, whether it's your work or something that you personally enjoy. Building cars, being around cars, that's something I personally enjoy. It's something I grew up doing. And what I had a chance to be a part of taught me about details and preparation and safety and all those other things. But our football team is the focus. I'm glad you enjoyed the podcast. That's been something that that I've thoroughly enjoyed. You know, the coaches get to come over and we spend 4.5, 5 hours at my house and we're just talking. And so that's time spent with coaches on my staff where I get a chance to get to know them even better. And they get a chance to share their story. And we got fantastic people. And that's really the purpose behind it, is for everyone to hear like what these fantastic people have done to get to where they are. And, you know, we all go through the same challenges. We all go through a lot of adversity. But as far as our football team, that's the focus. That's the number one thing. And it happens each and every day. You know, we talk about 1-0. We talk about how do we make today the very best day for each individual player, coach, staff member in our program, and how do we do that collectively as a team? To me, that's really what the goal is, and that's what our mentality has been. And I think that's why we made, you know, some really good advancements in our program, is because we've had that identity. And that will show up. When we get into practice, we start doing the work to get ready for the season. Those things will, you know, they're going to show themselves. And I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of where our guys are at because of those reasons.
That is Brian Harson from earlier today.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it was a great answer.
No, yeah. I've said the whole time that I like this guy. It's unfortunate.
He felt comfortable today.
But I said I liked him, but
yeah,
I was worried about his recruiting.
Yeah, and
how he'd fit in.
And I think that's founded.
Yes. So, but you know, there's more ways. I mean, they brought 8 defensive backs in. They brought 17 players in that are new. You know, they lost some. That's going to happen.
Yep.
And this is, you'd have to say this is his first team, really. He's put this team together. He had a couple guys that are from the original staff, and I think he likes where his staff is now. Also, these are so we'll see.
This is his team.
Yeah. So. You know, I think Auburn winning 8 games will be a success. If it goes like Drew thinks, and LSU's number 2, that means more than likely they beat Auburn. And Penn State, if Auburn were to lose to Penn State, he's going to have trouble.
Yeah, if they're 3-2 in the opening 5-game home stretch, he's in trouble. They need to be 4-1. They need to beat Penn State.
Yes.
Everybody wants them to beat Penn State.
Yes.
Nobody wants to see a Big Ten team beat an SEC team.
No question.
Send them home.
No question.
We are just getting things started. We do need to take our first time out. We're live here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Our continuing coverage of SEC Media Days continues.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You're listening to the 2022 SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag, but I realized that's exactly what I do and what I am.
Dan, I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal.
I love love. My father was a gambler down in Georgia.
The Drive, live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, home of the 5-star experience. Also online at woodyAndersonFord.com. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate, and Adams. We know great homes. Eagle Masonry Insulation. We will save you money. Bob Wallace Appliance, where we service what we sell. Locally owned and operated since 1978. And by Chapman Commercial Realty, growing with Huntsville for 6 generations.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Appreciate the fine folks at Woody Anderson Ford sponsoring us as our first hour sponsor, as well as a sponsor of us heading over to Atlanta. Also, a big thank you today as well to Baumhauer's Victory Grill, as we're live here in Huntsville. And this week's Inflation Sucks menu feature item of the week is the barbecue yard bird Mojo marinated chicken breast, based with their homemade barbecue sauce, served with a half-grilled baked potato.
Man, that's the most.
And green beans for only $9.99.
Yeah. So the half-baked grilled potato is the best secret here. It's really good.
We all know that inflation sucks. Well, Baumhauer's is here to save you a few bucks. Go easy on your wallet and let their limited time Inflation Sucks menu get you covered. That is definitely a fine option here at Baumhauer's Victory Grilling. Again, it's the barbecue Yardbird. Jordy Armand sitting in with us for a couple hours as well, as he has been a busy man over the last 4 days, as we all have been, covering the 2022 SEC Media Days, just back from Atlanta. And incidentally, the predictions will come out tomorrow morning. And I am more curious with you, Jordy Armand, as to who will be the second-team quarterback. Who do you think the second-team quarterback?
He's already said that on our show.
Well, I would have to say Hendon Hooker behind Bryce.
Even, I mean, so where does Stetson Bennett fall?
He's in the top 4 or 5. He has to be. He's got a ring on his finger and a championship pelt. But I've
you
got
said 4 or 5, so you got Bryce, you got Hooker, Levis.
If Georgia's undefeated and goes to the Sugar Bowl, to the SEC championship, he's either the first or second. This year, right?
I voted Stetson Bennett second.
I would have to vote. I think Hooker's going to put up really nice stats.
But you have Tennessee 4.
I do. I think, but I still haven't gone to a bowl game.
Yeah, I think, truthfully, Tennessee might be second. And
leapfrog Kentucky and Florida?
Yeah, I think Florida's – if you look at what he really says, what he's saying is he's setting them up that they're not there yet. Watch what Florida coach says. Go back and look at what he says. Look at what Chris Doran said to us.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they have the players.
And I'm not a Rattler guy. I think he's a fraud.
Well, I don't think South Carolina has the either way.
That's why I just ultimately couldn't pick South Carolina ahead of Tennessee.
Yeah, but they might beat one of these teams. They might beat Kentucky or upset a Kentucky or Tennessee, but it'd be a one-off thing.
I did want to play a little bit of Josh Heupel and what he said in the main media room this morning. Here is the Vol head football coach.
I talked about the traditions of being in the volunteer experience and all things good about Knoxville and the university and Vol Nation across the country. And, year 2 have really gotten a chance to truly live in it and immerse it and just soak it in. And it's a great time to be a volunteer. I reflect back on the last year and obviously the success that we had as a football program and where we're going, but also just the success that we've had throughout our entire athletic department. It's been fun to take our players, to take my family, our kids to the games there in Knoxville, Tennessee. And that's men's and women's basketball. It's baseball. It's all of our Olympic sports. So many positive things happening on campus there. And for us on the football side of it, exciting about the renovations and the expansion of our current Anderson training facility, great players lounge recovery area, over $100 million project in reinvigorating Neyland Stadium, which is one of the great venues in all of college sports, and so much excitement that exists surrounding Vol Nation. It's been a lot of fun, and a great amount of that is due to our leadership. Danny White, our athletic director, Chancellor Plowman, and our president, Randy Boyd. Great leadership that has a vision of how we want to compete, giving our players all the resources that they need, and they're going to go out and chase it every single day for us. It's been fun. A year ago, I talked about we were in a race to become as good as we could, as fast as we can. And I'm really proud of what we did in that first 12 months, but so excited about what's going to happen in the future here too. And we took great strides in year 1 in our culture, a sense of accountability, the standards that we were going to have inside of our program. How are we going to compete together and enjoy that process, and how we were going to be connected and love one another. And as much as anything, we've improved in that area, not just from where we finished the season, but since we got back in January, and really excited about what's happening there. Last year, we broke 8 school records on the offensive side of the football. We finished top 10 in the country in tackles for loss. I think we had 5 guys that were drafted, the most inside of our program since 2017. There's a ton of excitement. I think, everybody in Vol Nation, recruits across the country, our fan base, you can feel and sense that energy every single day. And a lot of our success can be attributed to the 3 guys that we brought here today. 3 really special players, but even better people and how they approach everyday life and how they live their life outside of the game. Hendon Hooker, you guys know his story, transfer that came into our program a year ago, earned the starting job, competed so consistently throughout the year, grew throughout the year, and has taken great strides this offseason. A young man that had an opportunity to declare for the draft chose to come back to our program, I believe because of the culture that we have and the improvements that he knew he could make in coming back and helping his career as he steps to that next level after the season is over. And Hendon's a pure winner.
That is a little bit of the opening statement from Josh Heupel.
Did we end up getting Hendon? Did anybody? Was it we didn't get him?
No.
Yeah, I hate that.
I do too.
I really hate that.
Things out of our control.
Yes.
Yes. Although I will say, how many media? We've gone to quite a few media days, and from a player access point of view, this was as good as maybe about 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, yeah. When I first got there, we got
the very first year,
we got everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was set up different too.
Yep. Yep.
And really, there's so much content. Unless you got a story you just want to do, you don't really need to interview them.
Yeah.
Because there's so much content.
Yeah.
From them just. They're getting interviewed by 5, 6 different people before they ever get to you. So anyway, I liked it in Atlanta. I didn't like the power going out so much. Some of that was our fault. Some of it was the places. So
yeah.
The fact that we had no water.
Yeah,
Well, they had us in the
basically we were in a
museum, so they wouldn't let us have.
Yeah. No food or drink.
Yeah. I mean, and anyway, so
we
broke the rules.
Yeah, quite a few people.
Well, I'll just say allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, but I had a good reason for it. But anyway, I'll just say this: I think the 2 most underrated quarterbacks in the SEC going into the year, the guys that I think are going to have kind of what I would call breakout years, so to speak. I think Miles Brennan's going to be one for LSU.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be very, very productive. I think he's going to be really, really good. And I like KJ Jefferson a lot. I think he's a veteran. He's played a lot of football. I think he's in the top 5 or 6 in the SEC. You know, there's some that don't even have him in the top half. I don't see how you can do that when he has all this experience. And I say all this, and I haven't said anything about Will Rogers. He's going to throw for a bazillion yards. I just don't know. I just don't think they're going to win enough games for him to be a first or a second team all SEC type guy. And I like KJ Jefferson's ability to be a dual threat. And the only thing that slightly worries me is the simplicity of their passing game.
Yeah.
And seeing if Jaden Hazelwood can fill the shoes of the freakazoid Treylon Burks. And it's like I said I was on in Fayetteville this morning, in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I said I don't know why he went in the lower part of the first round. I think it's why scouts get fired. I don't know what they were doing and what they were watching because I watched him against Alabama. You saw him against Georgia. I know they got smoked, but the guy is a freakazoid. He makes plays against the best competition, and he's doing it with a simple passing game because they're so run heavy. And maybe that hurt him with the scouts. But
I think he was overweight, Drew. I saw something about today that he was overweight.
Well, if he was, good Lord Almighty, if he ever gets in shape.
Well, he looked like he was in decent shape yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, I just really like him. I think he's a heck of a player, and and that's why those are a couple of QBs to me, and they're both in the Western Division. But I think they've got a chance to kind of be breakout guys. And then the wild card to me, and I picked him third in the East, but Anthony Richardson. He's obviously a freakazoid athlete, okay? He can do little somersaults, standing still and all that. But we haven't seen him play a ton of football. but he's got a lot of tools in the toolbox, and we have to see how he plays under Billy Napier. But certainly, if he can have a big year, I think Florida will finish in the top 3. But I like Anthony Richardson as well as another quarterback, kind of a wild card that could break out also. Will Levis has got tremendous arm talent. I picked Kentucky second, so that would mean he would have a great year. I think he'll be in that top 6. And I even made this comparison, and I'm not trying to say they're going to win the national championship, but I just remember when I saw Joe Burrow as a junior. I thought he was okay. That was pretty good. And then everybody kept saying, oh, with this new offense, he's going to be unreal, and Jamar Chase. And I was like, well, I was like Matt Moscona. We were both like, let's wait and see the first couple games. And Matt had an inkling it was going to be big, but I don't even think he was anticipating what happened. But it was unreal, the progress Joe Burrow made. Now he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He almost won a Super Bowl for the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah. He almost won a Super Bowl for the Cincinnati Bengals. He almost won a Super Bowl for the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, there you go. So that's how good Burrow is. What if Will Levis – Freddie Maggard said something today that I was like, wow. He's had 6 offensive coordinators in 6 years.
Let me tell you something, though.
And he's never been a starter till now going into fall camp. He wasn't the absolute slam dunk to be the starter last year.
Who's this now?
Will Levis.
Yeah. So let me say this. There's not a Jamar Chase.
No.
On the Kentucky Wildcats.
I will say this, though.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's going to be Jamar Chase, but I'm just letting y'all know if he can neck up, get it. And I asked Mark Stoops about this kid. I went and watched him with my beady eyes in Pearl Cone in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Or actually, I take that back. We went to Tullahoma High School. They were playing Pearl Cone. Berrien Brown, 5-star wide receiver, went to Kentucky. I'm telling you, he's big time. He did not have a quarterback that could get in the ball. They had to hand it to him and hand it off to him.
Where's he coming out of high school?
Yes, he's a young kid, but he's got potential to be the best receiver of the Stoops era, no question in my mind. Even better, I know people are, oh my God, Wan'Dale Robinson caught 104. I know he did. But Berrien Brown, now it's going to depend on Berrien doing the little things and working, but I'm just telling you, he's got a chance to be special.
How many of these NIL guys that are getting all this money, driving all these fancy cars, forget what it takes to be a college football player?
Well, I think a lot of
it's going to happen.
Dirt Neck's going to happen.
It's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not going to pick on Dirt Neck tonight, but it's going to happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. That's why I've got them finishing 4th and winning 8 again. I don't think they're going to be any better. I think I'm going to piggyback off what you said. You said, well, Owen's going to be disappointed. I think they are going to be disappointed.
Yes, I do too.
I mean, I think I don't think they're going to live up to it.
Well, they're thinking. I mean, I think the next year they could be a lot better than they will be this year. So I just think you can't depend on freshmen to win SEC games.
And remember, Haynes King, who Olin Buchanan told me he still thinks he's got the edge. He didn't play much last year. Max Johnson's played more,
and they were.
I would put my money on Max Johnson
against Colorado. Was it Colorado? Colorado State.
Colorado. It was 10-7.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, we'll see.
I still would put my money on Max Johnson to be the starting quarterback.
We need to take our final time out here in hour number 1. We will continue along. If you'd like to join us, you can certainly do so. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You're listening to the 2022 SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
Here goes Ozzie, 2-2 on the way, hit well. Deep center field. Might have ourselves a tie ball game. You betcha.
And we'll bring you every huge moment of the Braves 2022 season right here on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
It's been said that there are 3 things in life that are certain: death,
taxes, and car commercials. But actually, there's a fourth certainty, the Woody Anderson Ford Rate Lock, that allows you to lock in a finance rate when you factory order a 2023 F-150, Explorer, or Bronco Sport. No more rolling the dice on a future finance rate. Lock it in as low as 2.9% APR for up to 60 months at Woody Anderson Ford today. And while we're featuring 23 F-150, Explorer, and Bronco Sport, this rate lock offer also includes 2023 models of Ranger, Edge, Maverick Gas, and Transit Connect. With approved credit, offer ends 9/5. It's the Summer Supercharged Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. And with your trade being worth as much as 30% more than last year, it's a great time to make your move. Oh, and check our Ford Gold certified vehicles too. Low mileage, great warranty, and a full tank of gas and fresh oil change. Swing by today. The Summer Supercharged Sales Event, Woody Anderson Ford.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Whether you're a competitive athlete, weekend warrior, or just someone who wants to get into fitness, Neeson Fit Physical Therapy is for you. At Neeson Fit, we work to understand your current symptoms and how your life is being affected, then formulate a specific plan to address your concerns. Neeson Fit offers one-on-one sessions, hands-on treatment, supervised training, and therapists who are goal-oriented and performance-focused. Contact Neeson Fit now to get started. Offices in downtown Huntsville and in Madison. Online at NeesonFit.com. NESIN Fit.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A little more cloud cover this afternoon, but that's not going to at all stop us from warming up. Temperatures climb into the mid and upper 90s once again. Heat indices could be somewhere between 105 and 109 degrees. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. That activity should get out of here as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. We're going to start the day off Friday in the lower 70s. We'll finish the day in the mid and upper 90s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Live local shows. Hello. Live local play-by-play.
Oh, now's a good time to check the radio.
Plus, the power of ESPN Radio. It's all right here. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Back here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, along with Wes Neighbors and Drew DeArmond. My name is Steve Moulton, live here from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. And so there was a lot of hype about Jimbo Fisher taking to the stage today.
And Drew's the only one to ask the hard question, right? Or
there was one other question, Drew, that was borderline...
Well, my second question had an underlying meaning to it, but it flew right over Dirtneck's head.
Well, hang on. Let us listen to question number 2 from Drew DeArmond.
Drew DeArmond, WCGN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. Coach, in this NIL area you talked about, you've dealt with talent and players throughout your career, but how now do you balance it with a freshman coming in, a high profile like an Evan Stewart, who looks like he's going to be a big impact guy in your program, with the returning players, and how do you kind of manage the locker room?
Well, I think we've always recruited at a high level in different places I've been, whether it's LSU, whether it's Florida State, and competition, honesty, and the best players play. If you're the best player, you play, and it's about competition. I think great players respect that, and I think it makes them raise their game. I think the honesty and communication is the key. Communication is the key to everything, and I think that's where we got disenchanted in college football, to answer your question. I mean, there was no communication on it, and all of a sudden, instead of ready, aim, shoot, it was ready, shoot, aim, and everybody just started implementing rules, and everybody was panicking. There was no communication. There was no unification, and I think that's what you have to do as a coach. That's our job, to make sure they understand what we do, how we communicate with them. And listen, it's open competition. I ain't seen a rule in a rule book that says freshmen can't play, but I ain't said one that says they have to play. That's all up to them based off the competition and the opportunities they have. And I think that's where you have to be in your locker room, to always be on top of those things and have a good, fresh line that kids can talk to you, you can talk to them. And I think as long as you communicate, you can always work out every problem.
And your follow-up question, Drew, would be?
How much back channel communication was there, Coach? Because I know there was some.
Well, what about that word salad for an answer?
Yeah.
I mean, he went 50 different directions with that.
Because he's lying through his teeth, Wes. I mean, now Evan Stewart's hopefully going to live up to the investment from the collective. But I'm just telling you, a lot of people thought he was the best receiver in America.
Going to roll up with a Porsche.
But I think if there had been no NIL, he probably would have ended up at Alabama. But he ended up at Texas A&M. And he's going to be a huge impact guy if he's healthy. And I'm just saying, allegedly, he got – at least mid-6 digits to sign with Texas A&M, okay? And that's what I meant by managing the locker room, because he's going to come in. I don't even care. I will say this, though. I saw a lot of dudes play well in spring games and not do anything at Alabama, okay? I've seen it, all right? So just because and one just left the program and is now Sark's problem, all right? It doesn't mean you're going to be a great player. That was my point of the question. In other words, how do you manage the roster when my man, Steve just said it, comes driving up in a Porsche and has already hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, and he hasn't even played yet in a real game?
Well, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be people who struggle. But there are people who struggle before this, right? I mean, there are 5-star recruits that don't pan out.
Well,
let's talk to Arizona Jay, who is holding on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. What do you say, Jay? How are you?
And Jimbo knew the silver lining in that question. That's why he started talking like an auctioneer. I mean, as soon as he started talking like, he knew what Drew was saying.
Sounds like an auctioneer guy.
Yeah.
He sounds like an auctioneer.
Yeah, that's why we get questions from Joseph Goodman of, how did you learn to talk so fast?
Riveting.
Riveting.
Yeah.
And now that's the one. That's the thing that Feinbaum led off with Dirt Neck.
Lord.
What hard-hitting journalism from Paul Feinbaum. I mean, and Feinbaum, trust me, he's earned his stripes. He's now the mouthpiece of the SEC, so he's not going to ask the hard questions anymore. We know that. But again, it's something, if you do a little research, that's why it kind of irked me that nobody would go there with Jimbo.
Actually, I was rolling around the Blue Origin building, and I hear Drew DeArmond at Huntsville. I was like, wait a minute, is that our Drew? I was like, please, God, don't let him have a desk to bang on, do the whole hello bit and everything. But
that would be the only thing. You know what, Jay? That would have been the only thing that would have been better had when Jimbo interrupted Drew's question, had he knocked the microphone and said, "Excuse me, Coach. Excuse me, Coach. I wasn't done."
Man, I had to pull over and tweet it out real quick. I was like, wait a minute, who in the hell gave Drew the microphone over there in Atlanta? Like, can't be real. But yeah, he knew what Drew was asking him. That's why he started talking real fast. I mean, he was like Woodrow McGraw with his talking. But I mean, Drew, you did a good job, bro.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. We are right up against a hard break. Appreciate you calling in. You can do so, but we'll also hear from Ronnie Brown, Chris Doring, Andy Bertram as well, the voice of the Auburn Tigers today. Auburn took center stage in Atlanta, day 4 of SEC Media Days.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray will get a 5-year contract extension worth just over $230 million. His deal will now run through the 2028 season. Meanwhile, in San Francisco, the 49ers are hoping Jimmy Garoppolo's agent can find a trade. ESPN's Diana Rossini says it's just not possible for Garoppolo to stay in San Francisco.
If Trey Lance has got Jimmy G breathing down his neck, or perhaps, after the first interception he throws, the Niners fans are up on their feet booing him, cheering for Jimmy, it could get, in my opinion, I think it just makes it very difficult from the cultural side of all of this.
Diana Rossini on KJ and Max. ESPN has learned Georgia coach Kirby Smart will become the highest paid coach in the game thanks to a new 10-year contract worth a little more than $112 million. The Bulldogs are coming off their first national championship in 41 years. Baseball today, back from the All-Star break, first of a doubleheader in Houston. The Astros beat the Yankees 3-2 on a pinch hit walk-off infield hit from J.J. Matijevic in the first game. Rangers shut out the Marlins 8-0. John Gray goes 6 scoreless innings, allowing just 4 hits for the win. And the first of a doubleheader in Oakland, the Tigers beat the A's 7-2. Robbie Grossman drives in 3. The Nashville Predators signed winger Nito Niederreiter to a 2-year, $8 million contract. He scored 24 goals for the Hurricanes last season.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Tennessee is such an interesting team to me. I like Ryan Tannehill, but I don't believe Ryan Tannehill can get them over the hump.
It's Friday with KJ and Max. It all starts at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. The Drive, live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, home of the 5-star experience. Also online at WoodyAndersonFord.com. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate, and Adams. We know great homes. Eagle Masonry Installation. We will save you money. Bob Wallace Appliance, where we service what we sell. Locally owned and operated since 1978. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. And by Chapman Commercial Realty, growing with Huntsville. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
A big thank you to Chapman Commercial Realty, who's been helping Huntsville grow for 6 generations. A big thank you to all of our fine sponsors as we are back on the homestead.
Class act.
Indeed. So We are back here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, and Woody Anderson Ford, Brickshire Hathaway, and Adams, Eagle Masonry and Insulation, Bob Wallace Appliance, and as we mentioned, we are live here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill as well, and also a shout-out to Environmental Comfort Systems, who brings you our conversations with Drew DeArmond weekly, and Drew has sat in with us for the full duration, and you'll be wanting to know, Drew, that there are stories about your first question out there. Travis Brown tweeted out as part of a story, Jimbo Fisher clarified of the video that went viral of a staffer talking to recruits about financial benefits. Fisher said that the staffer had been on the job 1 month and was talking about the boosters that help fund the whole program.
And then that's when the lie detector goes way up in the air. And the buzzer sounds.
We led off the program with that, but
and then Jim Carrey laughs.
Earlier today, Wes and myself, we took a time out into that could have been a penalty box that we were in up on the second level, but it was a well-insulated penalty box.
Right.
With Charlie Trotman along the second level, and here is that conversation with the former Auburn quarterback.
They have. It's Auburn Day, so of course we're going to visit with Charlie Trevin. How are you, Charlie?
I'm doing great. It's fun to be here. It's good to see everybody that covers the SEC, and I'm excited about this upcoming season.
Well, there's a lot of question marks with Auburn, but there's no doubt the anchor is the tailback position. It seems that way.
Yeah, well, I think with Tank Bigsby and Jacquez Hunter, I think we're in good hands at the tailback position. But, every year that Auburn is picked really low, they seem to do better.
Always.
And I don't know why that is. It's some kind of mystique or something. But, in 2010, nobody thought Auburn would do well, and nobody knew who Cam Newton was. And then in 13, Auburn was coming off a dismal season in 12, and nobody thought Auburn was going to do anything. So maybe this is a year that Auburn does better than people think.
Well, so I've been telling people all week, and Steve's heard me, and this is kind of repeating myself, that the whole West, outside Alabama, has pretty much set at every position, barring the offensive line, finding 5 guys. But other than that, everything else is everybody's a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
They got a lot of talent. I think there's more talent in the West than ever been. But it's, Ole Miss, you got 3 different coordinators, strength coach, total player reload. You don't really know what they're going to do. Have no idea. But so everybody's picking Auburn. Texas A&M saying Arkansas lost their number 1 player probably for the last 20 years in Burton. What was his name? Burt's. Anyway. Yeah. So, I mean, and Auburn beat them last year anyway,
right,
at Arkansas. I think Auburn has a chance to do good, but it's all up to how they start.
It is. And the good thing is Auburn has 5 games at home to start with. Of course, Penn State's in that mix, and so they're going to have to do well coming out of the chute. But question is quarterback, and I know from having played that position that you need to know who your quarterback is and not going. I mean, how many teams in the SEC are going into fall practice and they don't know who their quarterback is? Not many. Auburn is one that somebody's got to step up and be the quarterback. I think it's going to be Calzada, but I'm not.
Who didn't really practice it?
Who
threw in spring but didn't practice.
Yeah, he threw in the spring, but he did 7-on-7s and things like that.
They got 3 guys that have a chance to be pretty good, and if you can manage the running game around it.
Yeah,
I like the way Harsin. I think Harsin Austin was so close to having a really good year last year.
Yeah.
Now, if he can overcome the offseason, which it looks like he has mentally anyway.
Yeah.
And I hear they're going to be better. Injuries, though. I think that's going to be the key to second and third place, especially. And even if Alabama, if Bryce Young gets hurt, they're a box of chocolates.
Well, the funny thing that is pretty consistent is that when Auburn has had good teams, you'll appreciate this, Wes, their offensive line has been senior oriented and a good offensive line. Auburn has not had a good offensive line in the last couple of years. This is an offensive line that they say is they're all seniors and juniors,
and they say
they've gotten better. And if they can be a good offensive line and give whoever the quarterback is enough time to throw, I think Auburn will be okay on offense because they should be a decent running team, with good running backs and with a good offensive line.
Number 4, if he breaks the first level, he's a threat. He's going to punish somebody. Somebody's going to have a hard time tackling him.
Yeah.
Now, the offensive line had injuries last year, too.
Yeah, they did.
And so who was
Nick Brahms, the center? He had ACL surgery and ended up not being able to play in the last game or so. He is back. He didn't have to come back, but he's chosen to come back. John Samuel Schinker, the tight end, he didn't have to come back. He decided to come back.
These 6-year guys?
These are fifth or. Can you be a 6-year guy?
Well, yeah,
I guess with COVID, I think they are.
Super red shirt.
Yeah.
You might can come back.
You never know. You never know. Yeah, it would take COVID wiping everybody else out for me to play.
Oh man.
Yeah. Defensively, though, I think there's a lot of question marks. And can Owen Popo stay healthy?
Right. He is a big-time playmaker, and we need him. Derek Hall's another guy on defense that we need. Eku Leota is another edge rusher that could be a factor. Our linebackers I think are solid. Our defensive backs, we got to replace Roger McCreary at cornerback, and that's going to be and Smoke Monday at safety. So those two positions are going to be important. But on the defensive line, we got to be more playmakers on the defensive line. We weren't last year. Didn't make a lot of didn't have anybody that you could point to and say this guy's going to dominate. Except in that, Auburn's defensive line played a good game in the Alabama game. They really did. That was the best game they played all year.
And I've heard that the defensive line has looked good down at Auburn. They have.
Yeah, and they got some people back. They got Harris, the kid that transferred from Kansas. They got Imba, who is a junior college kid coming in. They got Jones, the kid coming from Oregon. And then they got some of the guys that played last year. So there are enough bodies there. The question is, can they gel together?
Yes, they brought in 8 defensive backs.
Yes.
Right? 8 transfers. And I don't know if they're freshmen or transfers or
both.
They're both. All the above.
They're both. Yeah.
So there'd be 8 new guys. So you just got to have 4, right?
Yeah, you need 4 good ones. And you really need, I tell you, you need really 6 or 8 because people get hurt and people get banged up on a play or two and have to come out. And if it's a big time play, if it's a third down and 6, and the team's on your 40-yard line, you better have somebody that you can put in there that's pretty good.
Yeah. Especially against the bus. So the reason I think Auburn needs to do well early, and I think there's an outside chance they could be 5-0.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because there are 5 games at home, and then you travel on the road, and you have some really, really good teams on the road. This makes it tough.
Yeah, Georgia's on the road, Alabama's on the road, both Mississippi schools are on the road. At least Texas A&M and Arkansas come to Auburn,
right?
So that helps a little bit. And then I think it's Western Kentucky comes to Auburn.
Usually Auburn has more trouble with those than they do.
When Alabama comes there. Georgia State came within an eyelash of beating Auburn last year.
I watched it. It was unbelievable.
It took a 4th down exceptional play by T.J. Finley to win that game.
And that was what was so strange. And then you go to LSU, and Bo Nix plays out of his mind.
Yeah.
In that game, totally out of his mind.
Yeah.
Probably the best game he had as a player. He made some of the same type of play T.J. Finley made.
He did.
In that game, it turned the whole game on its ear.
Yeah, he did. I miss Bo Nix. I liked him. I was a Bo Nix fan. I thought he had kind of happy feet. He didn't. He wasn't. I was going to say, he always expected somebody to break through that offensive line, and he was on edge, ready to run. And I wish he had a really good offensive line because I think he was very talented.
Yeah, I mean, and once you start getting hit, it becomes
Jason Ghost.
Yeah,
you see, you count. When you go up to the line of scrimmage, you're counting how many defensive linemen they got.
Yeah, you see those linebackers look over there.
Yeah,
and they look like werewolves. It gets scary. I can only imagine.
I remember Johnny Cooks. He was the number. He was in the top 5 NFL draft choices after my senior year. This is in 1980. He was a 6'6", 240-pound middle linebacker in a 4-3 defense for Mississippi State.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, and I would come up to the line of scrimmage, and I was eyeball to eyeball with him, or looking up at him actually, and he was like salivating. It looked like that I was a piece of chicken, and he was coming to dinner. He was coming to dinner. It was scary.
Should have winked at him, be like Stabler.
Yeah. That's right. I should have.
I don't know what your impressions were of Harsin today, but from last year to this year, he just feels comfortable more. I know he's a year into it, but it felt completely different from last year to this year.
Yeah, I thought he was impressive in this setting. He gave a good analogy to what this team's kind of going through, and he made some good comments about what he went through in February. Talked about the people trying to get him out, and that it was unfounded and things like that. And I think from an Auburn perspective, if you're an Auburn fan, the thing you like is that he stood up for himself and that he wanted to be the coach at Auburn. He could have just taken the money and gone.
Yeah.
But so, that makes you feel good that there's a guy that really fought for the job. And so, I think he's learned a lot. I think the first year was a learning curve for him, playing in the SEC West. I mean, can you imagine going from Boise State to playing the SEC West?
Yeah, it's a learning curve.
I mean, he's got to be better this year than he was last year.
Yeah, I think he thinks. I can feel that he thinks he's going to be better.
Yeah,
I mean, you can sense that.
Kind of sense that.
But what's interesting though is people studying him too, right?
Yeah.
And usually that second year, you have had to play off what you did last year.
Right.
Some.
Yeah.
Because these defenses, they get you down to it's a science.
It is. It really is.
You get a certain formation, and they know what you're plays.
They know exactly what you're going to run.
Exactly. So you got to change up when you do.
Yeah, and of course, Auburn's got a new offensive coordinator, in Coach Keesaw, but he. I don't know what kind of offense he's going to run. You think that Harsin is a run-based type of coordinator in his past. He likes to run the ball and set up the pass. There's some teams that throw the ball to set up the run. You look at Alabama in the last few years, and Alabama has thrown the ball to set up the run, and it's worked beautifully for them. And so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of offense Auburn comes up with.
In the shotgun, you have to throw the ball.
Yeah, you do. You really do. You need to. Yeah, and better have a quarterback that can move it around and do a good job with it. But the other thing about Auburn is is I think the kicking game is in pretty good shape, because even though our kicker had a bad knee and he had it operated on, I think Anders Carlson is a good field goal kicker. And then I think our punter, who is one of these Australian type punters, I think he's a good punter. So if you remember, he punted against Alabama. He had like 2 inside the 10-yard line at the end of the game.
3, really.
Yeah, should have had 3.
25, I think.
Yeah. I think he is. That's young. Yeah.
We had a 30-year-old guy when I played. He dropped a pass one day in practice, and he played the linebacker. Coach Bryant really traveled him every game. I mean, he was awful. But he dropped a pass, and somebody yelled out, he'd have caught that 10 years ago. I'll never get it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie. You're welcome. Good to see you guys.
That is Charlie Trotman from earlier today. So he would have caught that 10 years ago. Auburn's schedule. It has been well documented. The 5 home games out of the gate with Mercer, San Jose State, Penn State, Missouri, followed by LSU on October the 1st. First road trip is between the hedges at Georgia for the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Then followed up with a back-to-back road trip to the Grove, Joey Grovewater, at Ole Miss, before home against Arkansas, then at Mississippi State on November the 5th. Home against the Aggies, home against those Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky, and then at Alabama. Let's go ahead and take our first time out. We'll continue along. Live here from Baumhauer's Victory Grill.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You're listening to the 2022 SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
In 1982, Bob Baumhauer introduced Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhsriserealestate.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
When our lives were interrupted, Madison Academy immediately began distance learning instruction thanks to our Apple device program and a well-prepared faculty.
When our success in athletics led to a new competitive balance rule, Madison Academy was prepared to face the new challenges head-on.
We understand a thing or two about winning, and it always begins with preparation.
Learn how our balanced approach to learning prepares the mind, body, and soul. Visit our website at macademy.org to learn more. Strong minds, strong faith. That's Madison Academy.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
It's been said that there are three things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and car commercials. But actually, there's a fourth certainty: the Woody Anderson Ford Rate Lock, that allows you to lock in a finance rate when you factory order a 2023 F-150, Explorer, or Bronco Sport. No more rolling the dice on a future finance rate. Lock it in as low as 2.9% APR for up to 60 months at Woody Anderson Ford today. And while we're featuring 23 F-150, Explorer, and Bronco Sport, this rate lock offer also includes 2023 models of Ranger, Edge, Maverick Gas, and Transit Connect. With approved credit, offer ends 9/5. It's the Summer Supercharged Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. And with your trade being worth as much as 30% more than last year, it's a great time to make your move. Oh, and check our Ford Gold certified vehicles too. Low mileage, great warranty, and a full tank of gas and fresh oil change. Swing by today. The Summer Supercharged Sales Event, Woody Anderson Ford.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal.
I love love. My father was a gambler down in Georgia.
The Drive, live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, home of the 5-star experience. Also online at woodyAndersonFord.com. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate, and Adams. We know great homes. Eagle Masonry Insulation. We will save you money. Bob Wallace Appliance, where we service what we sell. Locally owned and operated since 1978. And by Chapman Commercial Realty, growing with Huntsville for 6 generations.
Back here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Last night, Wes and I had an opportunity to talk to Chris Doering from the SEC Network, and here's what the former Gator had to say about his Gators that were front and center in Atlanta yesterday.
I mean, it does kind of feel like through the time that you've covered the SEC that it's been Bama, Georgia, but it does feel like heading into this year, the Bama gap may be a real storyline once we get to late October, early November.
You know, last year I probably said this with you guys too. I was kind of down on Alabama. You know, I thought that, you know, they had some significant holes, and maybe it was the greatest coaching job that Coach Saban's done in his career, because I thought he got more out of less with some of the deficiencies that they had and having to overcome those things, particularly on the offensive line. But, I think this year, with the experience they gained on the defensive side, and obviously you get back maybe the best offensive and best defensive player in the country on the same team. I don't know when that's ever happened before. So there's a lot to be excited about, a lot of questions for Georgia. So I'm with you. I think it's Alabama, Georgia, and then about maybe 6-7 teams vying for that next spot in the third best in the conference conversation.
So in the West, to me, Chris, you look at it and maybe have more talent probably than any other division in college football, but a lot of question marks on every team. Really.
Yeah, I believe that this year's West is the best division in the history of college football, and since they got broken up in East and West in 92, and everybody else started following. This is the best, deepest, most talented division that we've seen. But I'm with you. I think, I have questions about who takes over the production for, at Arkansas with Traylon Burks being gone now. You look at Texas A&M. Can they find a quarterback and develop some receivers to overcome issues from last year? LSU, to me, has a really high potential ceiling or a really high or low floor. Questions about their quarterback spot as well. But, I'm with you. There's so many things to
Ole Miss.
I think Ole Miss goes backwards. Obviously, they had a great season last year, but you lose Matt Corral, and maybe more importantly, you lose Jeff Lebby. You lose on the defensive side.
Lost their
DJ Durkin.
Lost their strength coach.
Yeah. So there's a lot. I think to be answered. And it's funny this time of year. Especially the more you find yourself saying the things over the 4 days that you believe, you really start to feel like it's fact instead of something that you're just coming up with. But to look back when we get to December, when we're back here for the SEC Championship weekend, it'll be fun to see what we thought we knew versus the way things actually turned out.
So you picked Ole Miss to beat Alabama last year.
I did. I was 1 week off with one different assistant of Saban's that ended up beating Texas A&M and Jimbo the next week.
I was one of those. You seemed after that like you got a lot of.
I got a lot of hate the whole week. It was like 2 or 3 weeks before that because I went on our show with Peter Burns and said that I didn't think that Alabama was elite that year. And it was not a slight. It was just noting that, hey, there's been elite. If you're elite every year, it kind of takes away the definition of the word elite. Elite means standing out above everybody else. And I thought that it was a very young and average Alabama team last year.
A lot of holes.
Yeah, so I pointed that out and got destroyed by Alabama fans on social media to the point where, they were going on my mortgage company's website. They were going through some serious effort to troll me. So I appreciate their commitment. But this year, and I'm not pandering to have them like me, I think that Alabama's a legit national championship team this year.
That's what makes the SEC so great.
The passion, right?
The passion.
The fan is short for fanatic. Let's not forget
that. And I hate that happen personally, but
people are watching. Yeah. People are listening.
That's good, right? Yeah. No such thing as bad press.
What was the quarterback, the first quarterback of Saban's, where the LSU guys all got his phone number and called him, and he ended up getting a penalty when he did this?
They did it to Tebow. Tebow was one that the LSU folks got his number.
And the next year, they got a John Parker Wilson.
John Parker Wilson.
Yeah, and got his number. And they called him, and they had to turn his phone off.
Yeah,
they're
relentless.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm horrified that would happen. But I love the passion.
Yeah, it's a great conference to be associated with. Growing up in Gainesville, I was a huge fan of not only the Gators, but all the teams that would come through, and knowing the history of those before me and having a chance to play for a period of time now covering it. It's just such a great.
It's like a dream.
It is. It literally is a dream come true to get to do what we all do here covering this league.
Well, so we're taping this on the day in which Florida stepped up to the podium, and Billy Napier, what were your thoughts?
I love Billy. And one of the more humbling things that's happened to me in my life was when Billy first got the job, he called me, introduced himself, and said, I loved watching you when I was growing up. At which point I realized now I'm older than the guys that are getting hired here in this conference, So that was tough for me to swallow. But I like the organization. I like the attention to detail. I like the involvement in every aspect of the program. He's got a great plan. The thing that Florida fans have to understand is it's not an overnight fix, right? It's going to be a while to help build up this roster. And I talked to a coach that was at Florida last year who said, we don't have any elite talent on this roster, right? They one of the things that ultimately got them was that they didn't recruit. They haven't been able to keep the best talent in the state of Florida, and they got to find a way to do that. Kyle Trask, that year, Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney got them to the SEC championship game. They had a really good couple players that were able to mask the real deficiencies that were below the surface.
So surprising, I read an article talking about how some Florida fans already, the honeymoon's over.
Yeah, he hasn't even coached the game yet.
No, so how does that happen? What has happened?
I don't even know. Again, I consider myself to be part of the Florida fan base, having grown up there forever. Yeah. And I think I'm allowed to say that it has gotten ridiculous with the impatience and the entitlement that the fan base has.
Spurrier's fault?
So, I guess, I look in the mirror. It's partly our teams from the mid-'90s that did that. Like, before 1990 or before 1993, there had never been an official SEC championship won by the University of Florida. Now, all of a sudden, it's as if Florida fans think that they should be winning it every single year. I love that. As a Florida guy, I love the idea of Florida being in the SEC championship every year the way we were. I love the idea of participating in the college football playoffs, but it's just not realistic with how deep and talented this league is.
I have multiple questions about multiple teams. At the top of the list is Texas A&M.
Yeah, Texas A&M is an interesting dynamic because there's a lot of people that are really high on them. Yeah. And then for me, I'm like, well, did you guys watch last year? Like, the quarterback play was not good. I know Calzada's gone, but are we sure that Max Johnson or Haynes King are going to be the answer? Even if you do find the right guy there, I thought the receivers were below average. They didn't do a great job of getting open and helping Calzada out. And then you lose some of your most productive, dominant players on the defensive side. I love the idea of hey, giving credit to the recruiting classes, but are those guys going to be able to step in immediately and produce? I have too many questions about them to think that they are a legitimate college football playoff team this year.
You do not win championships with freshmen. You can plug them, play them. By the end of the year, if they play enough, they'll be all right.
Yeah. But having to rely on a lot of freshmen?
They're not going to.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, and then we move over. LSU, it's hard to get a beat on exactly what we're going to see. Yeah. And because it feels a lot to me like Nick Saban's first year in Tuscaloosa, weeding in the guys who want to be there and weeding out the guys who, ultimately don't want to be there.
I was down on LSU this year until we got to Destin and had a chance to sit down with Brian Kelly. Like, I've never had a chance to interview him in person before that. Man, the guy is charismatic. He's got this aura about him. He's engaging. You can see why he's so good on the recruiting trail.
Can't dance.
But, definitely can't dance, and he can't speak with a Southern accent. But I think other than that, the guy,
it's not good.
He's but I really believe that aura about him has gotten a pretty talented roster to buy in. It wasn't like they were devoid of talent the last couple of years. It was just a fractured locker room that was in disarray. So if he can get them on the same page, I think they can actually win sooner than later.
And Keyshawn Boutte getting the number 7 jersey.
Wow.
I thought that was a big statement.
Yeah. I mean, there were thoughts of him leaving, and he ended up staying, and now they give him that honor. I mean, I think it says a lot about his buy-in and commitment, and, I'm excited about his season. That freshman year he had was quite the splash on the scene, and then to see him go down with an injury last year was disappointing, but glad he's back in the conference. They just got to figure out who's going to throw the football to him and who's going to protect the quarterback long enough for them to get the ball to him.
So the West is like this is the Forrest Gump year. It's just a lot of teams with a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get.
Is it not that way in the East, too? I mean, it's the exact same thing, right? Who's going to be the team that's the second best in the SEC East? Out of that group of, you could say, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, South Carolina, Missouri. Like, I have a hard time telling you on that side definitively who it's going to be.
I don't. Yeah, definitively no. But I think Tennessee.
Who you like? Tennessee's your team.
I think they take.
What a contrast!
First of all, Tennessee's not my team.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I mean your team, your pick. But like, what a difference a year makes. This time last year, we were lamenting the roster that had been completely
30
gutted with everybody in the transfer.
30 guys.
I thought Josh Heupel, and I'm part of the Steve Spurrier First Year Coach of the Year award. We split it this year with Heupel and Beamer. Both those guys really exceeded what their expectations were. Both were kind of in the same situation with so many people leaving through the transfer portal and them finding a way to make it work and probably could have both won some more games if they, a couple plays here or there, even the way that they took Alabama into the fourth quarter.
South Carolina, to me, was one of the best improved teams from the first year. They were not very good.
Yeah.
East Carolina shouldn't have won that game.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love Shane Beamer and the way that he's kind of embraced social media. Everybody celebrated the video they put out yesterday.
That was good.
He has a lot of fun, man. Football's supposed to be fun, and I think some of the coaches now are realizing that they're coaching a little differently, maybe the way that you or I were coached back in the day. These guys, they understand the transfer portal and being able to play right away, going somewhere else. You have to deal with kids a little differently than you used to.
Well, and then speaking of Tennessee, I mean, Hendon Hooker, he was third on the depth chart this time last year. And now this is his team.
Yeah, it is. It feels like they've got a lot of things figured out and figured it out really quickly. My question is, can they figure out the secondary issues that hurt them last season? But I feel good about their offense. They've really found a rhythm and playing fast. I thought Hendon Hooker did a great job of coming in and making plays. And I guess the other question is, Velus Jones, how do you feel the shoes that were left by him as kind of the playmaker on offense?
You know, you look at, and you know this as well as anybody, and this goes for all, Bryce Young, everybody. Right now, there's somebody studying, figuring out what you do good and what gives you trouble.
Yeah.
And that's
sometimes it's easier to burst on the scene and not have a lot of film about what you're doing. And we've seen that, at the college and NFL level, where once they get a little tape on you, they're able to get a little beat.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how Hendon Hooker does this year.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, for that matter.
You know what I think will be interesting in terms of coaching up and scheming and game planning? I'm excited to see what Dan Lanning puts together to stop the Georgia offense, having known them so intimately and going against them every day in practice.
Double cover the tight ends.
You're going to dedicate 6 to those 3? I mean, they got some weapons, but I think it'll be interesting to see how other teams kind of try to emulate whatever it is Lanning does, knowing how well he knows what those guys do and the personality of that offense.
A lot of fun games early.
I love the games against the non-conference opponents, the other Power 5 conferences. It's fun. We're going to get more and more of those as we hopefully get the college football playoff expanded.
Fine. Go ahead, Wes.
Well, I was going to ask about Utah. That's, I guess, Florida's first game.
Yeah, first game in the Swamp, September 3rd.
So what does Utah look like?
I haven't watched a ton of it, but I watched them last year. They were the Pac-12 champions. They played in the Rose Bowl and were very competitive with Ohio State, and they returned a lot of that talent. So it's going to be a good test. I tell you, they probably lucked out. Instead of having to play at noon or 3:30, the game's going to be at night, so that'll help a little bit. But the humidity, I imagine they're going to be run into the ground. That was one of the advantages we had in September games, was running opponents into the ground with that heat and humidity.
We played a game in Gainesville one time, and it was the hottest game we ever had. And
back then it was on the turf too, right?
It was awful. But our shoes were melting. Some people's mine did.
Yeah. You had those quick feet, keep them off the ground, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was over there. It looked like a snowman. They're trying to build a snowman, putting ice on me.
Yeah. It was brutal back in the day. I grew up in Gainesville. We'd go in there on Sundays, kick field goals, catch passes, and it had that big crown in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
It was
the crown was so big. It was. Yeah. It looked like you're seeing half a person on the other side.
Glad we got rid of that stuff.
Yeah,
man.
I do too. I have too.
Finally, Auburn.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a team hard to get a pulse on.
It really is, isn't it? But Auburn has a tradition of when you don't expect much of them, they surprise you. So
they have some talent.
They do have some talent. What I'm most excited about personally is my former teammate, my guy Ike Hilliard, being brought on as the wide receiver coach. He and I obviously were coached by the two same guys, Steve Spurrier, Dwayne Dixon, our wide receiver coach. The way that we were taught the wide receiver position, there was so much attention to detail, the little nuances of playing the position. And Ike had a tremendous career at Florida and in the NFL. So he has instant credibility. He goes in there with these guys. I don't think the receivers at Auburn have been coached very well over the years. They've had talent, but just raw ability. I think this year you're going to see them be more technically sound because of the influence of Ike Hilliard.
And, of course, Tank Bigsby right there in the backfield. Yeah. But Zach Calzada, it was just kind of an up and down type of year, but it wasn't all on Zach last year either.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of things that were deficient in College Station last year around him, but it'll be interesting to see who wins that job. I'll say this about another Brian. I said Brian Kelly was somebody that was really surprised me when we were in Destin. Brian Harsin was the same way. Brian Harsin, I thought, was much more warm, much more personable than I had ever imagined him to be, and showed a little bit of leadership. So the fact that he was able to hold off that coup back at the beginning of the offseason, I just maybe it's meant to be. I hope they do well.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I don't. Trying to fire a guy after 1 year, and then the way you guys on vacation and everything else that went down, you can't write it. You can't make that stuff up.
Get some rest.
Yeah, I'm ready to get some rest. When I say get some rest, what I'm going to end up doing is going to dinner and then going to the bar and having drinks and being mad at myself in the morning when I got to get up at 5:15.
You always say about that, roll tide.
Thank you, Chris.
See you guys.
That was our conversation with Chris Doering yesterday as we ended with the Auburn Tigers, but a little hodgepodge there, trying to not talk so much NIL and really just talk some football more than anything as we get ready for the season. Let's take our final time out. We'll continue here live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You're listening to the 2022 SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com. and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Wendy's knows cold and soggy fries are the worst.
So soggy.
That's why we're serving up hot and crispy fries all day, every day.
And all night until close.
With natural cut potatoes, sea salted to perfection.
Show me that potato skin.
Wendy's hot and crispy aren't like other fries. We're your dream fry. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's hot and crispy fries.
Guaranteed to be hot and crispy. If yours aren't, bring them back and we'll replace them.
When our lives were interrupted, Madison Academy immediately began distance learning instruction thanks to our Apple device program and a well-prepared faculty.
When our success in athletics led to a new competitive balance rule, Madison Academy was prepared to face the new challenges head-on.
We understand a thing or two about winning, and it always begins with preparation. Learn how our balanced approach to learning prepares the mind, body, and soul. Visit our website at macademy.org to learn more. Strong minds, strong faith. That's Madison Academy.
Things are a bit tight lately. That's why I love Kohl's. I went back to school shopping and got kids' clothes for under $6, sneakers for less than $20, and an extra 20% off already great deals, like 25% off backpacks. And get this, you can save more with a Kohl's card and earn Kohl's Cash. Talk about more style and more savings. Select styles, 20% off ends July 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's for details.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
ahead.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. Stop into the University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in a Kia. Go Mustangs!
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at baddaddysburgerbar.com.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time. Turn all of the lights on over every boy and every girl.
That's Neighbors doing karaoke right there.
Heck yeah. I love this song. It's a really good song.
It's been a while since we've heard it.
I heard the whole thing. But I heard the whole thing the other day. I said, well, that's a really good song. I've been listening to the start of it every day for 10 years now.
What are you eating, Drew? What is that? So it's a hamburger?
And then the kitchen sink fries. I think that's what they call
kitchen sink fries.
Basically, yeah. Man, I'm telling you, my go-to here, and I didn't order it for 10 years. I thought it was off the menu, but the grilled baked potato is legit. I suggest it, and it's not on. It's on the side. It's on the sides. You can replace it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, really good.
A big thank you to all of our sponsors, Woody Anderson Ford and Adams.
Absolutely.
Brookshire Hathaway and Adams. If you need to sell your house, if you're looking for your next home, and Adams will take care of you.
Do a great job, too.
So you can also insulate that home with Eagle Masonry and Insulation.
It saves you money. There's no question about that. Save both of us money on multiple occasions.
And then that leads into potentially new appliances for Bob Wallace Appliance.
Service what they sell.
Yes, they do.
All these people are long-term sponsors.
And Chapman Commercial Realty.
Yeah. He really knows what he's doing. If you have a business and you're looking for a place to go, he's the guy to call. He'll build the suit or just find you a place to help you rent and help you along with your business. And guy's a classy guy and a good guy.
Let's talk to
six generations.
That's right.
At Huntsville. So
Shutdown Man is waiting patiently on the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. What say you, sir?
Hey guys, appreciate all the coverage. Just lets me know that college football season's right around the corner. I listened to most of it this week, and just a couple of questions on the day that Alabama was there. Saban, Will Anderson, and those guys. I heard Will Anderson, get questioned about the Saban and Jimbo controversy. He said he took note and they'd take care of it, or maybe he'd take care of it on the field. But, looking back at last year, 2021, the game, I thought he was a non-factor. No sacks, one solo tackle. they really had his numbers. They just dominated. No team sacked in that game. And I heard Jimbo say today that the offensive line, he's real excited about, real confident about this offensive line they've got coming back. And just what do you think? What do you think about that?
Shut down, man. I have not. Yeah, I'm not worried about Texas A&M overall. I think Alabama played horrible on defense that day. They couldn't cover anybody. Yeah, they were. The reason they didn't have any sacks is his 1, 2, 3 step throw. And if you can do that, you got problems. I mean, the tight end was running, if you remember, wide open the whole game. They were busting coverages.
Stop that running back, didn't he?
Yeah, and he caught a big 4th down play, if you remember, or 3rd down. It was 3rd and long. And I haven't seen the tape of how they blocked Will Anderson. I'm not sure. I think that the beginning of the year this year, the defensive line and pass rush will be heads and shoulders better than they were at the end of last year. They have 4 of the best pass rushers, including a young defensive tackle they'll have in that I can't remember his name right now. I don't have a thing, but Burrows, I think is Jamel Burrows.
Yes,
and he's going to be. I think it's going to be showtime for him. And then the other 3 pass rushers are edge rushers, and spring practice. I don't think anybody will be able to consistently block those guys on 3rd and long next year.
All right. One quick one. I heard your buddy Mike Griffith say that Georgia lost 15 to the NFL draft and then surprisingly 13 to the transfer portal. But, I looked today, Georgia's still dead last in the transfer portal rankings for this season. Like, they haven't got a single player out of the portal. It's kind of surprising to me, and just wondered if maybe you, Steve, or whoever knows, do they have a lacking area, and why didn't they get somebody?
That is a great question, Shut Down Man. I did not know that. That is a great question.
Yeah, I'm just shocked that they didn't get 2 or 3 players where they think they might be lacking. And,
right.
They normally do.
So this, I don't how many guys they have on scholarship. That might be the answer to that question. I don't know how many they have on scholarship.
I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look into it. I'll reach out to Claude Felton and ask that question.
We're going to find that out. That was a good point, Shutdown Man.
Shutdown Man. Let me be the in-between between yourself and our morning show host. He made SportsCenter. I don't know if you saw it about an hour ago, but Judy Armand made SportsCenter with his question to Jimbo Fisher. Were you satisfied, sir?
Yeah, it was a good, tough question. The first question, right?
That's right.
About the assistant coach or whoever it was telling players, hey, these people up there in the stands are going to be paying whatever.
Yep.
I thought that was, but I still wanted to hear him say dirt neck to his face.
Well, come on. I mean,
you're not going to disrespect a guy in front of.
We
wouldn't let him say that.
You know what would happen, Shutdown Man? He would get his credential pulled, and he would not be allowed to cover any games for us, and it's just not worth it.
No, we're having fun.
Yeah, we can have fun with it.
I'm just joking, man. I knew it got thrown out, or not be allowed to come back.
Yeah. Well, we don't want that.
Oh yeah, I'm just joking, man. Yeah, it's just all in fun. It would have been great to heard it though.
Maybe under his breath.
Yeah. Well, no, he said it enough all week. Yeah. So, what's funny is Ryan Fowler, of course, is a huge friend of the studios of Tuscaloosa, has his own show in Tuscaloosa. He says his whole audience calls him Dirt Neck now.
Well, just like Kirby Freeze.
Kirby Freeze,
So,
yeah.
I mean, the Drew Dictionary is growing.
Alive and well.
Yes, growing each and every week.
Yeah, and he nearly called him Kirby Freeze. That means Mart to Tony Barnhart. That would have been great.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Shutdown,
Thank
man.
you, Shutdown. We're going to find out the answer to your question. It's a really good question.
So I brought that up for the healing process.
Well, here's what it is. I
Okay.
think Kirby's confident in his roster, confident where they've recruited, that he didn't think they had any glaring needs to go out and get somebody. They lost some guys because they're dudes that are buried on the depth chart, not going to play. Everybody's going to lose dudes like that when you have the best program in the country, or like Georgia does right now because they're the national champs. So it's natural.
Reed Gilbert is a guy that really, I
Ineligible.
guess they did got. He's ineligible again.
No, he is eligible.
Well, they're getting there. He's not quite eligible yet. He will be. He was 300 plus pounds. He's now down to 265.
They say he looks really good.
Yeah, I talked to somebody that said he went through some rehab situations for maybe a little bit of painkiller, addiction, things of that nature, because he played hurt at LSU and then had some issues.
They can't be giving them kids that stuff.
And so, and that's a very serious situation. You know how serious that can be. And so hopefully the young man's going to be back. He's very talented. We saw him make some plays as a freshman at LSU. And then I'll just say this for the Texas ATM game. In that game that they had a horseshoe up their rear end and won, wasn't dominant. I agree with that. But at the time, Freakazoid Dallas Turner wasn't playing much. And just remember the name Chris Braswell. He wasn't playing either, and very much. And those three
guys they're as good as I've seen.
And there's even another guy to watch. I can't wait to see fall camp because I've been hearing that he's healthy now and he's up to 240. A dude named Keanu Coot. Just remember that.
Keanu Coot.
Yeah.
KK.
It's pronounced. It's KOHT, but it's pronounced like KOOT.
Yeah.
Keanu
still
Coot.
K.
Yeah.
KK.
Yeah.
Yep.
KK.
K squared.
K squared. Now I like that better. K squared.
Yeah. So just remember Keanu Coot. They're going to have a really good pass rush. And I know how much you love Byron Young. He will be back. He didn't go through the spring.
He went to the spring but didn't practice.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't.
Yeah,
he
he showed up. Yeah, because they didn't want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
Coming up tomorrow, we will hear from Andy Burcham, the voice of the Auburn Tigers. Ronnie Brown, former Auburn standout as well. We will also have a conversation Wes and I had with the Senior Vice President of the SEC Network, Michael Thompson Jr., sat down with us earlier in the week as well. A big thank you to all of our fine sponsors, including Baumhauer's Victory Grill, in our coverage of the 2022 SEC Media Days. My bet is calling. Good night, everybody.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama.
Alabama!
Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
On the Fireman Show, Paul's on the road. If he don't get the best of me, call Paul. He'll make sense of it all.
What's going on, Baba?
Kneeling's up on Rocky Top. The Razorbacks are hard to stop. War Eagles soaring in the wind.
Let me talk, Danny. Okay, go.
Tigers rocking in Missoula. Wildcats are grinning too. Talk about the tide that's rolling in. The weekend's full of surprises. From big upsets to robberies. On the Fireman Show, heads are gonna roll. If they don't get the best of me, we'll call Paul. Yeah, make sense of it all. Yeah, call Paul.
Don't take those calls. I could give you my address and phone number if you're ever in this neck of the woods.
This is the Paul Fireman Show. It's not Jerry Springer, right?
We welcome you back. We have reached the final hour of the show on SEC Media Days. We've been here all week, and it's been a lot of fun. Tomorrow, back in the studio, but we have a couple more guests. One very special that you may remember from a few months ago. Your phone calls, and of course, the last media member standing contest continues. How about Chris, starting off the final hour? Good afternoon, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, Paul?
We are doing great. Thank you for the call.
Yes, I used to work for Jimmy Rain. I worked for about 7 years with him. And Jimmy a pretty good fella, man. He helped out a lot of people from Abbeville High School that go to college, give them jobs. And he got three of the biggest business, the biggest business in Abbeville doing a lot of work. But the only thing I really hate, is that they dip in it, but I think Parsons is a half ticket for pick. They just got to give a chance. You know what I'm saying? And Auburn, a lot of times, they don't be predicted to win nothing. But like in 2010, they end up, everybody talked about it, they saw 10, 13, 17, 19. They did it all. But they never was talked about it.
Yeah, thanks. Listen, thanks for the call. I don't think anyone has ever suggested that Jimmy Raines isn't a good Samaritan, and I know Jimmy well. I talked to him not that long ago, and the issue isn't what kind of businessman he is. He's smart.